Hey Faves, it's your fave, Miss Renee. You guys, I am back at it again with another Good Food for Your Soul video. It's coming up right now. Okay, Faves. So, thank you for coming back to the Fave Miss Renee family. I am yours truly, Fave Miss Renee. Thank you so much. If you are a new viewer, welcome. Welcome. The love is definitely real here. If you are an old head and a subscriber, someone that's been rocking with Fave for a while, you know the love is always real here. So what we like to do here at the Fave Miss Renee family is have great, meaningful, thoughtful conversations called Good Food for Your Soul. Good Food for Your Soul is all about love, life, relationships, mindfulness, and everything that's really, really good for your soul. So before we get into the meat and potato part of this video, I've been thinking about this topic for a while. This is a hard conversation. It is not the easiest conversation for people to typically get into. Tonight's dish is called childhood trauma. Okay. Now I know this is a hard conversation for some of us. It has been for me as well. But we're going to try to make it small bites. Okay? Let's not jump all the way in. But let's just start off with little small bites tonight. Okay? Make it easier for us to digest. And once your belly is full off of that first little part, we can come back later for a little bit more of this entree. Okay? Childhood trauma. Something that I know a whole lot about. Okay, let me just say that. But you guys, if you didn't know, I'm a mentor and I have done this work for almost 2 decades. So having hard conversations is something that I'm very used to and comfortable with. That's why this conversation is not anything new to me. All right. So I work with young people from 6th grade through 12th grade. And then I also work with young adults. And recently I'm incorporating families back into my nonprofit agency. So this is what I do. I have hard conversations hoping to make life a little easier, better to cope with, and then heal. You guys, it's the necessary thing. We have to heal. I haven't always been as chill as I am now. Not at all. I think it's safe to say there were times in my life that I was the angry black woman. I know. There was times that I had not come to terms and acceptance of what I had to go through as a child, young adult, and a young woman. So it's safe to say that I was a little bitter, resentful, and mad. You know, when you go through things as a child and life seems so unfair, one of the things that we ask ourselves is, why me? Right? Why me? And you're looking at everybody else. You're looking at all the people in your classes, all the people in your schools, all the people wherever you are. And you're like, why is their life super easy? Why do they have the best mothers and fathers? And why do they have people that feed them every day? Asking those questions because you're jealous of them. You just want to know, why not me? Why couldn't I have that amazing life? Why didn't I have parents like theirs? So, let me start by saying that for years, the resentment that I had from being hurt as a child I didn't know that you needed to heal from it. I'm going to be quite honest. I thought that when you grow up, you just grow up. I didn't know that you had to address and had to go back and deal and heal from things that were done to you, negative things that were done to you when you were a child. In my mind, I thought when you grow up, you just move away from the trauma. I didn't know that when you grow, your trauma grows. When you get married, it grows. When you have new friends, it grows. When you have old friends, it grows. It doesn't really go, it just grows. It can stick with you, can stay with you like a fist to a glove. Or I can say it mimics being a friend because it's always there. You know how friendships are always there? Your trauma, if you don't heal, is always there. There used to be times when I could sit and talk about things that happened to me and I could cry as if they just happened that same day. Now, I'm not going to say that it still doesn't hurt, but I'm not sobbing because of things that happened to me when I was 10 or when I was 13 or when I was married and 30. I'm not crying about those things anymore because I've truly had time to heal. Ignoring those things doesn't make them go away. Again, if you think you're going to outlive your trauma, you're not. You're going to have to go and deal with it. Get the necessary help that you need so that you can travel along this life's journey and be well. Because you don't want to live your life through your traumatic experiences for your entire life. When I was a young girl, my mother had been traumatized. Oh my God, so severely that I believe it led to her mental illness that no one talked about. No one talked about how traumatic my mother's childhood had been. And no one discussed all the things that she had gone through up until the age of 15. No one talked about it. We'll unpack that in another conversation. Because, well, let me just say this. I'm going to say this and then I'll move on. My mother was 14 when she gave birth to me, and 3 days later she turned 15. Up until she was 15, her life had been a nightmare. And because her life was a nightmare, what do you think she had to offer to me? Okay? So I'm going to leave that there for now. I just want to show you that no matter what the circumstances and no matter what the situation is, healing is imperative. You have to heal. Because unlike my mom, no one ever shared with her that what she had been through, it was okay to be hurt. And it was okay to be angry for a little while. But that she had to grow through that. So she didn't. What happened to my mom is that her trauma grew up with her. She never learned to let it go. She never learned how to forgive, and she never learned how to heal. And that is a whole nother conversation. But I can say, me personally, for myself, I didn't know, honestly, I didn't know. I had no idea that healing was as important as it is until I started working with young people. It's so crazy because I could see myself in them. Some of the young girls that would come in my groups and they would be angry and they would be full of fire, and one young lady, I won't call her name, but if she sees this video, she'll know I'm talking about her because she used to carry a grown woman's purse in the 7th grade. And I just thought, what is she going through? But she was going through a lot. And no one had been able to get her to sit down with her grown woman purse and have a real conversation with them until we met. And then when we met, I would just sit and look at her and I would go, wow. I mean, she was funny, but she was me. I was the same way, not with the grown woman purse, but with all the antics. I was busy telling jokes. I was busy being funny. I was busy doing all the other things because I didn't want to deal with what was really happening to me, what was really going on in my life. I didn't want to stop and think about it because I knew if I stopped 1 minute to think about it, I might not be able to get up. So I just kept moving. And I kept growing. And from year after year, month after month, and whatever it is, my trauma got as tall as me. When the Bag Lady came out, y'all, this is a true story. When that song came out by Erykah Badu, the Bag Woman, the Bag Lady, I knew that the Lord wanted me to hear those lyrics because I was the Bag Lady. I was carrying around so much stuff, it was wearing my back out, y'all. But nobody still had told me, you got to let that bag go. You got to unpack it, let it go, and you got to heal from all the things that have happened to you. Healing. It's not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. I think the young people that I serve and the young people that I met, when I cried with them, I was crying for me too. When I started mentoring to them, I was hearing what I was saying. And every time we would get into that real heart-to-heart conversation, no matter which person it was, let me tell you something. I work with boys and girls. So the little boys have trauma too. Don't forget that. Their trauma is just as deep as ours. It lasts and grows with them too, if they don't unpack it and begin to heal. Let's talk about the one component that needs to happen in order for you to heal. And that's forgiveness. So for a very long time, I did not forgive. I didn't see the reason in why I should forgive. As a matter of fact, me holding on to the anger validated the fact that you hurt me. And I wanted you to know that I know that you hurt me. And not only did I want you to know that I knew that you hurt me, I also wanted you to know that I would never forgive you for it. So yeah, I walked around real angry. But I was angry to that person. Oh yeah, hey, that was me. Always chipper, always nice, always kind, sweet Renee. But it was underneath, see. It was underneath where the ugly was. Because, there was some ugly. So, the rage that lives inside of you when you hold on to unforgiveness. It comes out. Someone did something to me and made me angry, and the rage that would come from that one situation could not have been the reason why I was that angry. And then sometimes I was hurt and I was mistreated, and the other person, this now person, has done some awful, terrible thing to me, but it still didn't always qualify for what would come out of me. The rage. I didn't really understand forgiveness until I started growing my relationship with God. I didn't really get that God wanted me to forgive it. I don't think I just didn't understand. God, why would you want me to forgive the awful, terrible that happened to me? Are you saying that I'm not important enough to have these feelings? Are you saying that it's not valid what happened to me? God, I don't understand. Why do I need to forgive this awful, terrible thing that happened to me? And what I've also learned is the forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. And that's not just a cliche. That's not just something you hear people saying. It's an old saying. No, it's a reality. If you continue to hold on to forgiveness, it is just like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die. No, it kills you slowly and steadily. You just sink until all there is that rage. So the forgiveness was something that I struggled with for years, because I felt like if I began to let you feel like it was okay what you did to me, then it was like my hurt wasn't real. It's like you don't want to hurt, but you want to hurt. You want to remember the hurt because you need to validate your thoughts and your feelings. But this is what you don't have to do. Let me tell you, you don't have to worry about being heard and making sure that they pay for what they did to you. You don't have to do that. You don't. Because just as you know that they did it, they do too. You can relax in knowing that when you decide to grow away from your pain, when you start to grow away from your trauma, it's making you a better person. And when you become that better person, that looks back on them and like, you didn't break me. I know you tried. I know you thought you were, but you didn't break me. I'm really good. Something else, y'all. Now, this is hard for a lot of us to digest. Y'all know this plate of food. It was hot. It's good food for your soul. This is when I knew I was starting to grow. This situation right here, when God shared with me that he wanted to use the situations. He wanted to use the awful terrible. He wanted me to not be ashamed. He wanted me to be bold. He wanted me to be in authority. And he wanted me to share. Now that was a trip. Ah, my goodness, that was a trip. I remember those days. I remember those days when I would be speaking to a group of young women, young ladies, young girls, and something would happen that I would have to share. And I would usually be like it would just drop in my spirit, you know. Talk about the time this happened. Talk about the time that happened. I need you to share with them this. And I would be like, okay, God. Because I've understood now. I learned to be obedient. And then because God has allowed me to go through so many trials in this lifetime, they weren't for me. They weren't for me. He was going to use them. And once we really get it in our mindsets that this life is not about us and all the things we want and all the things we want to accomplish and the degrees and the cars and the houses and all, has nothing to do with any of that. But God wants to use you. He wants you to be a vessel for him. And really your job is to bring more people into the knowledge of Christ. And you can't do that if you're if you're proudful. You can't do that if you're angry. You can't do that if your light's not on. Because if your light's not on, all people are gonna see is, oh, she's just always in a bad mood. She's always mean and mad. And I don't know who did it, honey. I didn't do it. And you just like, now, yeah, you did it. You did it when you opened your mouth. Ooh. I used to be quick, honey, to get angry. Oh my God, quick to get angry. And then here come that rage again. Because it was never gone. You know, people say you sweep it under the rug. I was sweeping it under the rug, honey. And every time I got mad, whoop, here comes the rug. Here's all that stuff again. Babysitting that hurt and pain. But when God uses you, He uses every bit of you. He uses the part of you that you think no one knew but you. And so what God has done with me, you guys, has allowed me to be free. Allowed me to be free from the hurt, from the pain, from the resentment, from the bitterness, and definitely from the unforgiveness. So, people that have abused me, people that have used me, hurt me, neglected me, mishandled me, all of those things, I walk in peace now. Now, listen to this. When I say walk in peace, please don't misconstrue. Walking in peace means I can be in a room with you and not be moved to say, look, or do anything. I can be cordial with you or nothing at all. But I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad. Because see, the other thing you have to deal with is accountability. Now, I know I'm throwing some of these things out there, and we will revisit this plate of food again. But accountability is important. Because, okay, our conversation, this plate of food is childhood trauma. Now, let me go back, because as a child, you didn't do anything to cause or deserve what was done to you. You didn't. You're a child. Most of the time when you're hurting, it's because any type of abuse usually comes from someone older than yourself. Whether it's a sibling, a cousin, a relative, a parent, a teacher, a coach, or someone of that nature. It's always someone usually older than you, right? So the fact that they've done something to harm you, it's never your fault. It becomes an issue for us when we allow it to fester and we do nothing about it. And we allow that to grow up inside of us until, like I told you, my trauma was as tall as I was. It's never right when someone hurts you, but it's never right when you hold on to the hurt either. I promise you, I have had to say, okay. Not okay like, all right, I'm glad you did it. You did it, okay, good. No, not that okay. I've had to be bigger and want to be better than my trauma. I've had to want to release it, forgive it, and heal. And I do believe whatever God allows you to go to, He'll also bring you through. I believe that. If you have to meet a situation, believe me when I tell you, He's going to be right there with you. You won't go through it alone. And you'll have time in your life, you'll be like, I don't know how I got through that situation. And you know how you got through that situation? Because God was right there with you. I've gone through things, traumatic experiences that I know I should have lost my mind. I know I should have lost my mind. But God, and I didn't. And I'm still standing. And I'm here to talk about some of the things that happened to me as a child. Now, I haven't gone through the dirty details. Oh, but I will. This good food for your soul, these new good food for your soul conversations are going to be deep, very in-depth. I'm not going to talk in scenarios. I'm going to talk and share my story. No shame here. So, if you're a young person and you're dealing with a traumatic experience right now, first thing you need to do is get somebody you can talk to. You know, when I was a child, they used to say, what goes on in my house stays in my house. And you couldn't talk out of your grandmother, mother, aunties, whomever's house. You couldn't talk out of their house. So whatever was going on with you, you better shut your mouth. That's how it was. But that's not the case of today. There's so many outlets for young people. There's so many outlets for women and children. So there's no need for us to suffer in silence. We don't have to be quiet. We can talk and we can share and we can tell when someone is hurting us. As a matter of fact, we have an obligation to make sure that we get the help that we need. And the reason why I feel like we need to get the help that we need to ensure that we're not handing down, passing down the hurt and pain to our future generations. We have an obligation to make it stop. We have. The adults have. It's our responsibility to say no more. It's not going to happen this time. I'm not going to allow it to happen. I choose to do different. Childhood trauma, you guys. Please don't forget this. Things that you don't resolve stay unresolved. We've had whole families that died with secrets. And the younger generations in the family all trying to figure out what happened to who, to granny, to aunt so-and-so. Like, what happened to them? And some of those souls died, went on, passed on, and took those secrets and lies and hurt to their graves. But let's do better. Let's unpack it. Stop sweeping it under the rug. Get yourself some help. I did. I got myself some help. Honey, I've been talking about this stuff for so many years. And again, build your relationship with the Lord. He'll never get tired on you. He'll never make you feel like, oh, I'm tired of hearing this. He'll never make you feel that way. Because remember, even when you were going through all of the terrible, awful, He knew. He knew then. And I think He was hoping that what would rise up in you is a yes, God. Yes, Lord. I will follow you. And as you follow Him, right, that load is going to lighten. Them bags are going to fall off. And you're going to get the freedom that you've been looking for your whole life. But first, accept it. Acceptance is everything. Now, if you're young and you're being hurt, the first thing you got to do is tell somebody. That's your obligation, to make the pain stop. And it doesn't stop unless you tell. Okay, you have to tell someone what's happening. Share it with a trusted adult, but just know, whomever you share the trauma with, depending on what it is, other authorities will have to be notified. But we want it to stop. So that's okay. So when I was a child, people knew what was happening. A lot of people knew. A lot of people knew what I was going through at home. But again, I lived in an era where you didn't talk out of people's homes. And other people didn't meddle with other people. So even though there were people that knew that I was being mistreated, everyone was kind of silent, including me. I grew up in it, I stayed in it, and I was quiet about it until I was old enough to know that it was wrong. But the good news about this generation is you guys have people all over that are willing to share with you some of the things that they've gone through, their own traumatic childhood experiences, so that you can have comfort in knowing you're not alone, and also have comfort in knowing that it can stop. And it can stop today. You just have to want it bad enough. I hope this conversation helps you. I hope you see a light now in a very dark tunnel. And I hope you know there is help for you. You have to want the help. Seek the help and share with the help. Definitely drop me a comment. The dialogue can just be beginning. Let's use this moment, this video, to share. So, I hope you was eating, because I was eating. Hey, get your food on. Get your grub on. Okay? Now that we've had some delicious food, it's time for us to get ready to call it a day. Now, just so you know, I'm going to be uploading videos every Thursday or Friday. Every Thursday or Friday, I'll have a new video for my faves. You guys be blessed, be happy, and be well. Keep your heads up and your eyes open. And I'll see you guys in a week. Bye for now.